Thanks. You know what? Fuck you, Kelly, and your luscious hair. It's fucking bullshit. They fucked it up again. Know what I hate? Fucking haircuts. Look at this. I wanted the DiCaprio and got the DeVito. So I have two options, which is a bald man's mullet, egg in the nest, or the Welland roundabout, or bald. The hair I do have is actually just back hair that has overtaken the northern summit. I can grow hair anywhere but my head. I feel like my back hair is like a hair cape, the way it wisps in a warm summer breeze. If I was a superhero, I'd be Captain Caveman. My superpower would be walking on 2 feet. In my 20s, I decided to trim my fur coat. It's easy to start, but the problem is, where the fuck do you stop? I'm not Italian, so I don't have a gold chain to know where to stop. You can't have a shaved chest and hairy arms, like a reverse vest, or a pair of hairy dishwashing gloves, like loofah limbs. So I give myself a body buzz, and yes, I donated it for wigs at Curls for Girls. But then everyone started asking when I started working out, because when I'm hairless, you can see the muscle tone. I'm pretty fucking jacked under this shade carpet, like a young chubby Arnold or Charnold. As a kid, I always knew we were different than the other families. We were hairier, we couldn't find shoes that fit, we have Sasquatch strength, and I rode the short bus. So I recently wanted to know about my family background, so I do one of those ancestry swab tests. It works fast. I found out instantly I was a gagger. I knew my family isn't even close to being purebred. We are more of a mixed breed, or like an inbreed. Pretty close to a cousin fucker, but not quite hillbilly hand fishing. So I get the DNA test back, and it's not guilty, with traces of weed, and I'm not the father. But something's missing. Obviously chromosomes. I'm the missing link, the bridge between man and ape, and that bridge is the East Main Street Bridge over the canal. Once you cross that, it's like the Planet of the Apes over there. But the Cumming family isn't actually a family, we are our own species. Our Latin name is Cumming erectus. We come just after Homo erectus, but before our wives. We just stand a bit straighter. We are the erectus of the erectus. And all it takes is a little dust in the wind, and the old baby bird is looking for lunch. But we don't really have branches on our family tree. It's more of a family wreath. Just a big circle of ass draggers, ear biters, and elbow lickers. I wasn't actually surprised. At least half my family is on the spectrum, the Neanderthal spectrum. Doing more research, I found out all my health problems can be traced back to the Neanderthals. My diabetes, my chronic drooling, and all this fucking hair. Look at me, you can tell I was born in a cave, or maybe a shed, or like under the bleachers at the dirt track, amongst the cigarette butts and empties. This is what happens when a Yeti and ogre fuck, or your dad's a chest beater and mom's a knuckle dragger, or if Larry the Cable Guy and one of those red-ass baboons had a baby. I was a preemie when I was born. I thought that meant early, but it meant primitive or primate. I'm not sure if it was the hair on my back or my opposable toes that gave it away, but they weren't wrong. I walked on all fours till I was 12. Look at me, my ass is always hanging out. I can barely talk or walk upright, and I'm hairier than your mom's bush in the 80s. I'm a goddamn vanilla gorilla. My family's like looking at the great apes. The kids are like chimpanzees, always swinging from trees, learning to use tools, and always niggling the berries. Then there's the orangutans. They're like a teen, just lounging around, pretty much fucking useless. They're the ones at the zoo, always fiddling on the roof. Then there's the silverback. They have nice robust shoulders, stunning brown eyes, the strength of 6 men, but a small little dinger. I just recently surpassed silverback stage and have crossed in around the old silver sack. My shoulders are droopy. I haven't climbed a tree in decades, and I need a ball reduction. or more like the sack cinching, just a little nut nip. But my gray hairs have migrated south of my ass. I have the Arctic blonde top end of the old South Pole. They're pretty much Yeti snow globes, like a salt and pepper squirrel purse, like where they keep a couple nuts, like a nut satchel. I look at my family differently now. My mom never really talks in full sentences. It's more like grunts and groans with a bunch of shits and fucks. She's actually getting her hip replaced because her old hips are tree climbing hips, and she's upgrading to bipedal. She does remind me of Donkey Kong though. She's not a fan of Italians, but she loves a good banana. I have one cousin who has a jungle gym in his garage. He uses it to work out because he hasn't evolved to tool use yet. Then another cousin who runs 200-kilometer trail races for no fucking reason. I think he gets the need to migrate. My buddy's grandpa would say he's got a chicken brain. You know, the brain of a chicken, just clucking away. And what do? I became a plumber. My family was pumped. I was the first in the family to figure out how to use tools. Obviously a monkey wrench. I've had a plumber's crack since birth. I was always the glue huffer in the family. And I'm built like a shit brick house. A brick shit house. And there's only 3 rules. Shit runs downhill, payday's on Thursday, and don't bite your fingernails. And you learn to keep your mouth closed. I met my wife on the dating app Quest for Fire. She had beautiful eyes, was tall, and wearing a sundress. I knew instantly she was the one that was going to light my fire. We went for a long walk into the woods. Then we lightly groomed each other. I tried lighting a fire, but I didn't have the tinder. So I threw her over my shoulder and went back to the old hole in the wall. We eat plenty of fish. I tried the old Netflix, but she didn't bite. That's when I remembered the famous Cumming mating ritual, big stick, small stick, rock. Now it works every time, 100% of the time. I'm 1 for 1. And here we are 10 years later. We even got married in a barn so my family could come out of the hills. But I've learned a lot on my long road to domestication from my wife. Like I don't need to make a nest with my dirty clothes. We have a bed. I can't just piss anywhere I want to mark my territory. She knows what's mine. And have you ever had food with firmness? She calls it al dente. I thought food was supposed to be sucked through your teeth like Jello, like Mom used to make. But then my mom is addicted to the show, or my wife is addicted to the shows Mountain Monsters and Bigfoot Hunters. It's a bunch of Appalachia hillbillies hunting for Sasquatch. I'm not sure if it's the hillbillies or the Bigfoot, but something gets her sweaty for her Yeti. Nowadays we role play in the woods. I play Bigfoot, leaving her footprints to follow. Giving her a glimpse of me every once in a while so she can get a blurry picture. Then I just disappeared because roleplay is fucking weird. And I'm afraid of squirrels because I have a nut allergy. Thanks.